My intentions is to look at the analysis and identify improvements and to facilitate. My distractions are mosquitoes. And I'll pass it to Livia.
Intention, just to look at the graphs and see if there's something interesting popping. And distractions, I really want to make a coffee, and maybe I'll do that while in this call. And I'll pass to Zaptimus.
Thanks, Levi. Yeah, my intention is also like look at the analysis and see how we can improve this system. My distraction is like Juan will join the room anytime soon, and we are also supposed to hack on a translation TC presentation. And yeah, I'll pass it to Durgadas.
Can you guys hear me okay? Oh.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh. I was rushing into my office. My intention is just, I don't know, I'm trying to find how to participate in this thing and, learn about it. And so, I thought I'd drop in when there was this kind of a smaller call. So maybe I could get some context about that. And my distraction is I am making a shake for lunch.
Oh, Patty, you get to be on the spot again.
Yay!
Intentions and distractions.
My intention?
We want to know.
Okay. My intention today is to share what I have learned and to learn from you guys how was this last round, because for me it was very different from last time. And my distraction is that I am a little bit didn't have coffee, but when you're feeling like too electric, and I'm feeling like that, so that's my distraction for today. And yeah, I pass it. I don't know who hasn't been. Has everyone gone yet?
Yeah, you were the last one.
Thank you. Just in time.
Yeah. And you actually are the only one in the call who quantified. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we'll just run through it actually. So you mentioned that you felt like it was different.
Yes. I felt like it was different because this time I felt like people, and I think I need to give a big praise to Livy on that, because I felt like all the quantifications, they were very precise and descriptive, and I'm not sure if that's because people were encouraged to do that by not just ditching praises in the community call, but I really felt like people were engaged in being descriptive and offering links, like this is the article that this person wrote and it's awesome, this is the work that they have done, and attach the link to it, or saying how many hours the person worked, and gave more data for me to quantify in a better way. It also impact on how I how I quantified. So this time I felt much more comfortable in in giving higher values. So in the previous quantifications, I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't sure. I mean, what was the effort? What was the amount of the effort given? And now, with so many details and descriptions, I could give a higher value for almost everyone.
That's great. That's like that's what we want. I think that's really good feedback to hear. And then I guess that comes with it, like you felt like you really had enough information to quantify praise?
Yeah, it makes so much difference. I only had two questions. One, I reached out to the person. I think it was Bear 100, because he said, "Oh, I had help for this specific DAO, for this DAO," and he didn't specify the DAO, so I just checked to see if it was similar. It had something to do with the TC, because could be something absolutely not related, and I wanted to check. And in addition, I took a screenshot. 1 second. Yes, I had a praise that I didn't understand from karmatic acid.
Oh, Lauren.
Oh, Lauren. Okay.
Yeah.
For supporting and championing great tokenomics via the ABC. And I don't know what the ABC is.
Oh, the augmented
don't-
bonding curve.
Ah,
But
okay.
yeah, there's I think maybe we need to append that, but just like I don't know if we left links in the quantifier onboarding for things like to the TEC glossary or to the forum.
You did to the forum, and there was a glossary. I'm not sure if. Oh, so I didn't. Let me see. I didn't look there, but I think it would help. Would
No
have
problem.
helped.
No problem. Yeah. Usually just like a quick search. You're like, damn. Oh, wow. Damn.
Ah, okay. So there's a lot.
Yeah, we're not lacking any info on the augmented bonding curve here.
Yeah, it was just me that I didn't do the work. Okay.
It's cool. I think it's just maybe needs to be more explicit in like maybe the onboarding doc, like how to get information.
Yeah, something that would be helpful. I don't know if this is the moment to say, but it would be helpful to have this in the praise system. In the when I quantify, have a small like check here the glossary or check these important links.
Yeah. A cool
And-
thing we just got added was an FAQ page, which will be available right in the dashboard.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds helpful.
I think so. Anything else apart from that?
I don't think so. Oh, one thing, I'm not sure if it's super relevant, but this time I had to quantify for people that received many praises. So I had, I think, a few people with 26 praises, and I was reading through the whole list, and I had several bugs with the duplicates, because whenever I had to duplicate, it would erase the first value, and I had to give the value again. Also, it was a little bit, and that was a little bit annoying because there were 26 praises, and sometimes the same praise would come at the end, or wasn't. I would have to read the whole doc before I give praises, and sometimes it was a little bit. It felt like I was losing time. It was in a very practical way. And this is one point, and the other is for these long praises, for this long list, maybe it would be helpful to have like page breaks, or so you can give it a. I don't know if it's too much or if it would help, but maybe a page break could help me give it a rest for the eye. So it's not just I'm not reading a whole document with a lot of praises, and it kind of gives me a break so I can do this more intentionally. So for some praises that I have only 5 praises for the same person, it's easier for me to be very focused on those. And if I have 26 and I have to read all of them, it's harder for me to focus and because of these bugs, kind of it feels like it's more tiring to do 26 for the same person than 26 for different people. Does it make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
I had that same feedback last time I quantified too. That when you see someone that has so much praise, you feel like I felt lazy in advance. It was like tiring just to think you have that whole page, but for some reason, having a lot of people who have like 5 praises doesn't feel that tiring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm very happy every time because I see how some people get a lot of praise, and that is awesome to see that these people are focused and their focus points in, on TC, but it's also a bunch of text that I'm not always expecting, you know.
Cool. That's good feedback. Thank you. Okay. Oh, and then just the last one here. Did you learn anything about the TEC from your experience?
Yes, I read an article by one of the people that gave reference in the praise, so it was very very cool, and I really was very was a good surprise to see how people are ditching better praises. So Livy, it's super awesome job.
Nice. All right.
I do wonder, does it make sense to update like the praise guidelines so that it will make it easier for folks to do
We did.
praise quanting? Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
Livy did a big update a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
And then
sweet.
I did a big update to the onboarding doc for quantifiers a few weeks ago as well. But if you read it through Durgadas and like you think there's things that don't make sense, like please like leave some comments and like help us make it better.
Yeah, it's true that this is a thing I didn't read, and so and also I'm just horrifically bad at giving praise. So part of my reason for attending this thing is to hold myself somewhat responsible for getting better at that. So
Yeah, we added a whole bunch of stuff in. So I mean, just give it a read and like if you think there's ways to improve, like feedback is great. I'm gonna keep moving through. We're gonna move into some analysis, and so I managed to produce the report.
Your your mic is a little noisy. There's a in it.
It's the rain.
Oh, okay.
Tough with paradise. It's raining all the time. Okay. So can you guys see my screen there?
Yes.
And so this is the data from the last round. And so quantifying between May 1st, May 1st to May 14th. 1,000 tokens. And then the rating distribution.
Does
So
it
then we
mean
can
that
go ahead.
so is the high number on the 0 means that a lot of people didn't didn't quantify, or what does it mean?
Yeah, most likely. Or like there is some people who maybe like missed 10 or something. So I think this is being counted in maybe as a bug that we should address. Because I know there was at least for 300, like quantifier just didn't get around to it. So this kind of skews the information a bit, I think. After that, it looks like the highest score was 5, 13. Some of those higher scores, 8, which I think is actually a little bit higher. On par with 80. Done 8 times as well. But again, like the medium range is like 5 to 13, not including zeros. And this is cool. I don't know if you had this last time, but top 10 praise. I don't think it was in the sheet last time I had it.
We couldn't open that at all last time. The whole review.
Okay. Well, we got it. So the highest praise by like praise score average was to Chewy for being in the TEC fam who went to Amsterdam and represented the Commons. After that is Nate for becoming a dad. Interesting. Ephra for the DAO's audit. And this is really interesting here, actually. Some Wonka to Pablo, to LSR, for making the CRISPR in superfluid, which Sem showed me, and it's an absolutely amazing tool. But it's like, I see Pablo here, but I know that Pablo and Sem did it together. But I'm, yo, where's Sem? Maybe we'll see it later in the sheet.
And that's also, something like, for example, like, the work in the audit, like, of course, like Efra did an amazing job, but he was not the guy who contributed more to the audit.
Uh-huh.
And then it's like, wow, he's on,
Yeah. We'll see though. I wonder, like, when we look a little bit down here, like, we'll see how that weighs up. Yeah, so we have this one for the audit, for the superfluid CRISPR, Mount Manu for transcribing praise, Ivy for the DAO audit as well, AV Art Conversations in Omega to Satori D. And then this one, Christopher making a rude comment in a GitHub tag. We're really getting all the gossip, I think, in this top 10 praise. Chewy for traveling out of the continent, sharing a room, intermingling during the crypto conferences, and then to Matty G was the last one, top 10, for some development work. Interesting to kind of like explain here, like, the top one is like some of this personal stuff, like for becoming a dad or for like, sharing space or like having a personal interaction with somebody.
Like things in real life are very valued.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
No, yeah, I think that's a very healthy. It's very healthy to see that's happening because, I mean, the most solid contributions are being compensated in some other ways, and they're definitely more visible. And to have the signal that these things that we wouldn't consider being valuable are actually valuable for the community is interesting.
But then, like,
Go ahead, Zap. Yeah.
what is our goal with the praise? Like, the praise, we want it to be like a complementary thing, like, and then every community that is budgeting praise for their community is like, okay, this is like an extra thing, or we want praise like just like it was at the beginning, like just like to compensate everyone who is working on, because at the beginning, like the common stack didn't have so much money, so like praise was the intention was to capture the value that like people is bringing and then compensate it in the future, but the whole value, not like
I don't want to go down the tangential path of like what does praise mean. We can have a little bit of discussion, but I feel like we can spend the whole rest of the call talking about this. And I think we talked about it a lot in the rewards call as well.
Yeah, but I feel like if I don't know, like for me, it's not clear, and I don't know, like we could keep the discussion in the forum. That would also work.
Yeah, I mean, we really need more people here to like really make any progress with it. But I hear you, and I'm going to work towards something that's going to address that.
I don't want to dive
Looking
into
down-
it too much, but I just wanted to kind of. This is something that came up in another DAO that I'm participating in, and that is, what is the role of like, healthy criticism? Because being critical is often not popular, but it's also extremely needed and praiseworthy. Do you know what I'm saying? So it is an interesting thing that, you can end up in a praise system with a kind of toxic positivity that kind of comes from it, just because people are going to praise you for being like a cheerleader or always happy. Like I've never heard Zeptimus not sound happy. So there's certain things like that that I just kind of wanted to bring up and sorry, but I'm tend to be a bit more critical of things, and sometimes I think that might affect praise. So just FYI.
Yeah, I mean, praise is inherently net positive, right? You can't take away praise; you can only give it. Let's look at this though. I'm really interested to see from like the top 10 who was praised to how like the final scores are. Like if we look at Mount Manu was way up there. We had Gideon, Livia, Chewy, Wonka, Christopher, Pam, Zep, and then we keep going down there. Matty G, Eduardo, Acid Laser. If we think about, what does that make you guys think? Like, is that reflective of like what was going on for the first half of May? We think about Sampo, audit, rewards development.
I think this is related to Zaptimus' comment, and maybe it's not the right question to ask, in my opinion, of like, is this reflective of what was going on? I think we can, this is reflective of what people are considering valuable, and that's what we should be looking at. Like, what is that our community is finding valuable? And I think this is the best use of praise. I think is a reward system and a secondary act of like first giving this awareness of what is valuable, and then seeing if this is what we want to have, if this is what we want to reward, and then that comes to something else. But
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's like it's like, okay, based on our perception, like what did we think the big contributions were during that period? And like looking at the people who received praise and like looking at like, does that match like our perception of who created the most value? Anyway.
I feel like people who are most encouraged to give praise are those who first they know how to use praise, so they have to be somehow familiarized with it, and then they have to be touched by the thing that they are praising, and somehow it has to have an impact. So that's why maybe this is who received most praise, right? Could you go back to those in the first? No, it can be on the graphic on the below.
Oh,
Yes.
here.
Who received most praise was Mount Manu. And Mount Manu is one of the stewards responsible for the onboarding, right? So he's actually in touch with people when they come. And I don't know, I'm trying to understand, but for me, it makes sense to praise someone as soon as I have a call with them. So just some thoughts that maybe that's why we also praise things that happening in real life, because they feel real for us, and when we just leave a call it feels real for us. I don't know if that was a question.
Yeah, building on that, I think we'll get a better sense if we look at who were the biggest givers of praise. That's this other graph, right?
Yeah,
Because I
well,
think, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
we can, that'll be just down here, actually. So you can see, look at this compared to what it was like a couple months ago.
And look how the left column is infinite smaller than the right column. I think our next effort should be to balance them out, you know? Like how can we get more people praising?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I see what you mean.
So we have a bigger signal of what is important, because now all the signal we're getting is from this few people in the left.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can I ask if there is a potential technical solution to this? So, for example, when I leave a Zoom call, right, I get a website that comes up and prompts me, right? So could it be that, when I leave a Discord call, there could be some kind of prompting to say, would you like to dish some praise? And then we'd have a web page there saying who and what and that type of thing. Could that help to even some of that out?
I wonder if that wouldn't be annoying after some time.
Yeah. I even feel bad just like spamming people twice a week.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be a huge help for me to remember to give praise,
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be an option, right? You could say, we have this system and you can opt into it.
Sure.
You can add an event to the calendar, reminder
Dish
of
praise.
ditching praises. Yeah.
Did you dish praise today?
Not yet. But I will.
That's interesting. Okay. Like an event like dish praise.
I think the working group experiment will touch on that too. Like if praises are dished in multiple channels, people that, because nobody goes to the praise channel just to hang out, and then
Mm-hmm.
but then if they're seeing activity in the channel they're already in, it might be a reminder.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how that goes, definitely. Distribution of the people giving praise. So I think this is like who was the most generous. I think we skip this one. Praise giver. So Tam was the most generous, then Gideon, then Wonka, then myself, Soul Sister. Oh, who dished? Yeah. Yeah. And then based on like the amount of praise they gave and then the score that it was given, I think.
It is kind of my perception that in some ways, the giving of praise is kind of a role of a steward, if you know what I'm saying. Like maybe that's wrong of me, but I'm just saying that I think that I think that's also true.
Uh-huh. I mean, hopefully they're the most in the know, so would be able to like give the widest range of praise, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's important too because it kind of like helps propagate it. You know, praising all the small contributors for the things they do like empowers them to feel like they should be praising, and then we get that diversity that we're looking for. Planting the seed.
Yeah.
Still trying to make sense of these charts sometimes. Praise outliers. Outliers sort by spread. So, okay, I can see. So here we can show like the max score that was given and then the difference between the highest score and the lowest score. So you can see some of this stuff like fatherhood, transcribing praise, had some big ones like transcribing praise again, rude comment in the GitHub. And then lower down there's some stuff around the audit, the ETH Amsterdam, again dad praise, and some bugs. Interesting. Emotional intelligence. Yeah, it's interesting to see the variety, like when you get some of these more ethereal praise, like emotional or contributions, what the spread is. Interesting. But obviously you can see there's a clear pattern here. It's like the higher the max score, the higher the spread is, meaning that there's still some disagreement, you know. Otherwise you'd see these top praise on the Y show up closer on the X here if the spread was smaller. Any questions thus far? Or should I just keep on narrating?
I'm okay.
And then here we have like kind of a grouped average of like the scores dished. So here we have the quantification value on the y-axis, and on the x we have an entry for each quantifier. So you can see Aussie Cross didn't get around to it. I think Usua only did about half. Benz, the range was short. 21 being the top. Same with Algene, the top was only 34. Henry, 55. Patty going all out. Edu, Bunjue.
It calls my attention those ones that are like Eduardo, for example, that most of his range is between 3 and 8, and then there was 144.
Yeah, like there's nothing in between like that 50 to 20 range.
Yeah, it feels quite unhealthy. I don't know.
It could have also depended on like who he was quantifying, right?
Actually, on my side, I gave praises of 8, 9, and so it wasn't only at the top and at the 20s. It was also in between. Should it show there?
You had some in between,
I had several
like in between
in the 50s,
20.
in the 80s. Yeah,
You had lots.
no, not lots, but I had
Just some.
several. Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe we'll look into it. Can you into praise? Okay, interesting. And what would you think, like, Livy, you're saying, like for example, people always using the bottom end of the scale. What would be like? Why is that unhealthy, and how would you approach it?
There is a diversity of proposal of I mean of praises that have I don't know how to explain in a reasonable way. It's very just intuitive. Like it just feels like there is a diversity of proposals that deserve a diversity of values. Or if that is a general feeling of the community that we only have like low score proposals and high score proposals, what does that tell about the contributions we've been giving? Like, are we missing? Is there some contributions that are missing to reach that middle value?
Right. And how do you even like? Because it's subjective, of course. Go ahead, Patty.
I would ask, what is the ideal healthy situation? I mean, is it that we have more praises being given and considering more aspects? Like we are now praising people for going to meetings, for their contributions at meetings, for being a father, for some commitments that they do, and some achievements that they have. And I wonder if having a healthy system means that we need to start looking at other things or start putting them there so that they can be praised and valued.
Yeah, that's why I've been pushing so much for the categories to become part of the analysis, because then we'll have a little bit more, it will be less intuitive and more data based, this understanding of what are we praising, like what areas of work are being captured, and if there are some areas that are not captured at all.
Is that why you were starting to talk about the forms of wealth that I was talking about before?
That's part of it. It relates somehow with what are the main focus we're putting, like where in what direction our efforts are going, and if they're balanced.
Okay, thanks.
You're muted, Mitch.
Wonderful. I'd love to go through the rest of these graphs, and hopefully before the end of this call, we can get some concrete stuff written down that we can take home and think about. So moving on from this one, this is a score displacement, so tendency to underscore, overscore relative to the other quantifiers. And so average score displacement was here. So you can see Usua, but I think this might be a bug because they didn't do like 75% of their quant. So I wonder if they were included, but like Aussie Cross, who didn't do anything, you can see is automatically discluded. So I wonder if those zeros are being counted here. After that is Benz, then Edu, Algene, and then Henry, and then going up to the top, you got Patty.
Yeah, I feel like I was very generous then.
It's relative, and I think like what we're going to do for the next round is actually like lower the amount of quantifications per quantifier. So we'll actually have like a bigger pool of quantifiers to compare data against, because with just 8, you can see how it gets kind of skewed dramatically.
Yeah. Then I don't really know if I was super generous or if this is just unbalanced.
Or just the luck of the draw, I guess you could say, by relative to who else was picked.
Yeah.
Yeah. How similar? Oh man, I don't. Z-Way has like the Pearson coefficient and then index. Anyway. Agreement on duplication. So 7% do not agree on duplication. 6% do not agree on dismissal. I think this number is down. It used to be like 15% and then 10.
Okay.
Also, one note, I didn't dismiss any praises this time. The last times I had several ones that I had to dismiss, and for this one everything was very good. Just a
Oh,
note.
great. Cool. So based on what we just saw in the chart and maybe some things that we touched on really quickly, what are some ideas of improvements that we can make to the praise system? Obviously, the big one is the categorization that Levi mentioned.
Well,
I
just
think that's more for red.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
For no. Never mind. You're right. If we're talking about working groups, then it would be for the praise.
Go ahead.
It helps me a lot when you when you put a reminder. I was just thinking about it. What Durga said. It helps me a lot when you put a reminder in the channel to praise 1 hour before the community call. Of course, I didn't have time today, but it's a good reminder, a good thing for me.
yeah, my thought was, how is it that we can, get more input into the praise system overall, right? I did actually make a comment to Wonka the other day where I felt like there was a period there was like, did praise go down all of a sudden? Do you know what I mean? Like this is a weird dip for me, but yeah, are there technological or sociological strategies like maybe 5 minutes to the end of a meeting we can say, hey, if anybody in this call contributed something to you, or you please do praise them, that type of thing. So that would be a pain to do every time and hard to remember, so that's why I was asking if there was a technological strategies, or maybe we can just do a working group that just talks about how can we just get more freaking data in, where we just munge on that for a period and see, what ideas come up or whatever. I also continue to come back to this idea of having the user dashboard, right? Because if you had a user dashboard there, you'd be like, hey, did you want a dish praise? And hey, someone just praised you, this kind of thing. Like, it could be kind of a centralized place to get more input in and out of the system by a nice user dashboard design somewhere, maybe on a website or something like that. Sorry, what were you saying?
Have a dashboard that you can see all the praises you received, and then to see all the praises that were dished
Oh yeah.
right now, they're all in the praise
Oh yeah,
channel.
I'm just saying that that's just for praise. I was just saying if every user logged in, to their own user setup and use that all the time as like a front end for their TEC experience, that might be a nice thing.
I think something that also would be so beneficial to make the data more accurate would also be like have some kind of standards of what what a 144 price should be, because like every person have a subjective, and this is okay, but then we should also have like some kind of rules how we do it on the TC, and everyone who's using also the reward system, in order that everyone can have like their own standards. But then yeah, having like maybe some examples at the beginning, like which 1 point contribution means, one what a 144, and maybe one in the middle, and then people can have an idea where every contributor is around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or even having a poll that would automatically come up with all the people who attended the meeting, and then you could just click plus or praise that person, or I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's an interesting idea, Zep, and we can get it from the data that we have. So using like examples of the least disagreement on like what's valued at a 1 or a 55 or a 144, and then we can use those as examples and put it in the quantifier onboarding or something.
On that note too, could we get like a number of praises that received a certain score? So like how many praises received the 89? How many praises received the 21?
We have that.
Do it?
Yeah, it's at the top, no? Yeah, so we know 9, 8 praises got
Oh,
144, 8 got 89, 5s 347.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Zeros are being counted in the rating distribution. That's what we need to fix. That's for the rad. I'll sort this later. Okay. Anything else? I tried to note down some of the bugs that you mentioned, Patty.
I saw that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I saw that. It's annoying, but it's just a bug. If it's add link, yeah, I think everything is there that I mentioned.
Well, I had some idea from when you were talking about just like the fatigue of going through people. So right now we have going through people who have a lot of praise dish to them. So right now we have like just like a line that shows up that separates like one weekly cycle from another. So maybe we just break those up onto like actually separate pages.
Yeah, maybe if it's just if I can choose to use a dark mode, for example, it would help. It's or if it changes a little bit of the color between the weeks or something like that, it's already very helpful. But yeah, the line break between the that we already have, it's helpful, and it's already relief to have it. Like, yes, I can breathe, but it's still a lot. Oh, also, I think I mentioned before, and I think it may fall in the categorization, but having some tips, some like keywords, what words are mostly repeated between phrases, if they are highlighted somehow, I can just read through all of them and find the keywords. So if I have 26 phrases and 6 are just for one subject, I can see if they are duplicates and quickly look at them, see if they are duplicates and then match. if not, then I can continue praising, but continue valuing, but maybe also helps.
Nice. This is great. No, that's okay. Cool. Well, any other suggestions? Praise system or even to the RAD dashboard?
I'm sorry, what is the red dashboard? Is
That's the analysis dashboard that basically takes the data and gives us this.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. No,
So
no.
like any information you want to see,
Mm.
or like maybe it's misrepresented or confusing.
Mm. No, I think it's everything there. It would be nice to have more people that quantified in the call so we can compare and talk about. But having the graph is already helps.
Yeah.
Oh, can we see? I don't know if it makes sense, but can we compare praises over time? So over the year, we see in a dashboard the different praises given or how many praises were given. I don't know if that's
Yes.
valuable, but could be
Yes,
interesting.
there is some analysis for like cross period analysis, so we can see. I couldn't run the file. It was causing me some trouble, but basically being able to exactly like you're saying, like look at how many praises were dished between the different periods, the scoring, the distributions. So it exists. I think it's still a little bit buggy.
Okay.
Also, I just wanted to tell Zap, I think the discussion you're proposing is very interesting, and a lot of people would want to contribute to that. And it should become a forum post, I think, so it doesn't stay clustered in the reward system.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. But I also think like I agree with what Mitch also was saying, and like maybe we can also, see those last, these ones. Like the problem is right now we're still like doing the old ones, and I honestly would love to get rid of those. Like those are not giving any value to to keep evolving the project. So I feel like yeah, we should focus on those new ones and. But yeah, like it feels like a waiting time. Like I feel like I don't know. I feel like it'd be better if we make this waiting time lower than yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's two things. It's like if we catch any big bugs in between those weeks, we're like, whoa, that's not right. Then we can fix them. And I think we're decreasing the cell pressure for the token by not dumping a lot all at once. So that's kind of my strategy.
Yeah, I see.
But I heard you guys yesterday, and I'm like resistant. But I think I need to set up a call to like do some of this bigger like cross period analysis and like you're saying, like what is praise for? Some of these more like existential questions.
Yeah, because sometimes like it's confusing. Like sometimes people is saying like it's like for the whole reward, but then yesterday Christopher was saying, oh no, this is just like to show gratitude, which is also cool. But I don't know, like it kind of limit the scope. Like I feel like if praise works as a tool like can reward a DAO, then it's have much more potential than it's just like to improve gratitude in your DAO, which is cool, but this not as cool as you can gratitude people and then also can be like the reward system like your DAO needs, which is way cooler in my opinion.
conversation I'm
Anyway,
talking
it's a
about that should be in the forum because it involves the whole community and it's also a subjective thing. Everybody will have a different perspective of what should praise be in service off. And I think if we open that, it will be great to hear everyone.
yeah,
Yeah.
very good point. We could spend an hour talking about it, and we wouldn't even scratch the surface. I think it's a good point. Okay. Well, we're at the top of the hour, but I really want to follow up on that. Does anybody feel like doing that? Like making a forum post to start the discussion?
I could do it, but not this week. Like right now, people is waiting me to play video games, and I'm excited just to go. But it's definitely a topic that I'm so like interested. Like I really love praise, and I see the potential it have, and it's a discussion that I also love. So I feel like I could start the discussion.
Okay. I'm sure. Well, I'm willing to help you, but if you can champion it, that
Yeah,
would be
sure,
great.
that'd be awesome. Like we could, yeah, I could probably draft something, then send it to the reward board, and then we have like some kind of a standard, and then yeah, then after that post, like I can give my opinion and not be so like the main posts have like to be more like analytic, and then in the everyone can give like their own opinion on which makes like it.
I'm happy to help on that one too.
Great. Yeah,
Cool.
let's.
Yes, we're at the top of the hour. 1 minute past. So this is really good though. We got lots of really great stuff from this call, and thank God Patty was here, or else like I don't know what we would have done. Just talk about whatever. Yeah, no, so it's great. So we'll do this again in 2 weeks when we have some new data. And in the meantime, we'll create some issues and hopefully get this ship running a bit tighter. And thank you all for coming.
I have one quick thing to say. It's
Yes, tell
10
me,
seconds.
Pat.
What if we make people, ensure to join this call, otherwise they don't get the rewards for quantifying? Like, I feel like
Possible.
impossible. Okay, cool.
It's not fair. I don't think because time zones. It's not fair.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, see you everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.